You are watching
So in
Xirtus.
Pennsylvania, we just had a proposal to make, put the Ten Commandments in the classroom, which I think is the reason why I think that is such a lame thing, for Christian conservatives to do is because that totally forgoes what is the greatest commandment. Why are you
And
not putting the greatest commandment in the classrooms? Which is to
which is the
love
greatest?
to
Oh,
love the Lord thy God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, all your strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself. Those are the one greatest commandment. Why are you not
very
pushing?
Jesus-y.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
impressed with you.
well, yeah, that is what Jesus said is the greatest commandment. So why are you not fighting for those things? It's because, a lot of these conservatives, they like the feeling of commanding people than they like more than they like the action of actually loving people, which
Yo,
is what
Kurt.
they are commanded to do.
Yo,
That's
Kurt.
the
So
Muslims. It's
Kurt.
if you put the Ten Commandments, that's exactly what the Muslims want you
Yo,
to
Kurt.
do.
I'm so glad you believe in God. You're basically more knight of faith than Ubermensch. I think. I think when you like philosophically evolve, particularly as a male, like I think you're either gonna go like the Uber or the knight route. You know.
I'm sorry, it's the
He's turning
combination of
red.
you and reading a couple of these comments. The comments are good, but um no, you're right. So the connection there is like when you're making the action of loving people, it's like, well, it can evolve from this sort of selfish, what do I get out of this sort of love that that tends not to end well
Yeah,
because
it's the Jedi and the Sith model, pretty much.
yeah, it doesn't really end well. So if you're thinking about, well, what is the most wholesome relationship I can possibly get out of that, then you can direct your energy towards that. And I'm not saying I have that. It's like, well, it's more fulfilling if you are just in the pursuit of that sort of thing than it is to even have the types of relationships that aren't even good for your soul. So it's like,
Well,
yes.
it's like you speak. I mean, when it comes to like basically entering a phase of abundance in your life, like, are you willing to give up your free will? Just to, I mean, not to anything else but God, I guess, ultimately, because you don't want to give your free will to anything but God. I think, in my opinion. Um, so the question is, are you willing to do that? Like, once you have the riches, once you have the comfort in life, once you have the abundance, like, are you going to like look up and say, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna give it all to God at this point? Or are you gonna be like, no, I got here through my efforts, my power, my strength. Fuck anyone who has anything to say about it. They don't know what I've been through to get here. Or are you willing to get there and still say, you know what, I'm gonna give it to God? I mean, because obviously it took self-sufficiency to get to that point. It took like that kind of like tooth and nail approach to even gain that abundance from scarcity. You have to rely on yourself. But then after you get there, then what? Are you going to still be like in that tooth and nail modus operandi? Or are you going to like
But are you
start
talking
like,
about giving credit to God or
no,
giving
gratitude, I should say, not
and then
credit,
gratitude in the
gratitude.
form of material things or
No, just like,
Worship. You know what the word worship means by
okay.
definition? By definition, the word worship means a worthy gift. Worship means a worthy gift. I think you can define that in a lot of different ways, but I think it's taking what you're given and capitalizing on it. It's like God already made everything. Can you make something with what you've been given? You know what I mean? Like you're given like a canvas. Can you work with that? Can you do something great? What can you do that other people can't? Or even if that's not a thing, but like what can you do with that circumstance that's the best you can do with that circumstance? I don't know, something like that.
yeah, I mean, well, we're ultimately trying to find reconciliation, right? Because, I think that's really what it's about. Because reconciliation is hard to come by when your life is nothing but scarcity, and yet you believe in God. So you might expect A, God will fix everything, or B, God hates you and is making your life shit instead of it's just you doing it. And then once you get over you like making your own life shit, and then your life is no longer shit and you get abundance, then are you going to still like leave God by the wayside and still rely on yourself? Or are you going to seek higher guidance with abundance, Because like we rely on our animal instincts when we have nothing. That's nothing else is going to keep us alive. God, like we can't just pray our way through to survival. Like you're
Well,
going to have
and
to
so
do some shit.
there was that whole thing in the Enlightenment, your personal relationship with God, as opposed to needing it to be through an intermediary. and then outwardly it may appear as though someone doesn't have a relationship with God, when in fact they're having an inner dialogue with a moral being all the time. It's just their paradigm is that their moral being is their own internal moral compass, and it has nothing to do with what's written in a book or some orthodoxy or tradition. It has to do with their innate knowing that they can trust their moral compass. It's never let them down.
Yeah, like I'm trying to be universal about it. You know, I'm trying to like remain in a way where it's like just personally, everyone can identify with a state of blaming something or thanking something or taking responsibility for something. Like if things aren't working out, I'm doing one of the three. And ideally, I'm like taking responsibility, because like anything else just seems not really conducive to a good outcome. I don't think. I try not to blame things, even if it is something else's fault. Like I still don't ever want to cede the power to change it within myself. At least I may not be able to change things around me or other people, especially, but I could at least change myself if I wanted to or had to.
And this is all still in response to Kurt's riff about kind of the meaning of one's relationship with
it's also what APM is about. It's advanced philosophy memes, right?
We're Applejacks. Sorry, Stefan, what were you trying to show us? What is this?
Yeah, well, so again, this instead of this paradigm of it's me and the Lord, and whether or not there's some sort of ethereal, non-physical entity out there that needs to be prayed to or recognized or heeded, but there's instead kind of a more. This is from a song called "Tribes at War" by Nas and Damian Marley, and the paradigm is this. He goes, "One, it's me and my nation against the world." So God still doesn't come in there. And this is as opposed to the other Rasta paradigm, which is God comes first and the woman the next in line. And I'm still not sure where the nation but here instead you have this paradigm. So it's me and my nation against the world. 2, then me and my clan against the nation. 3, then me and my fam against the clan. Each time this microcosm is getting smaller. So you start with the nation against the world, and then my clan against the nation, and then my fam against the clan. And then it's me and my brother with no hesitation go against the family until they cave in. Again, if me and my brother know what's right, we're going to be surrounded by people telling us we're wrong all the time, and we're not going to be the ones that cave, because we're standing on the principles of that good will triumph over evil and that wrong is better than right, so to speak. And then 4, but unfortunately, after you and your brother with no hesitation, you go against the fam until they cave in. But then 5, now what's left in this deadly equation? That's right, it's me against my brother, and that's when we point Kalashnikovs and kill one another, is what it says. And so that is kind of the story, perhaps historically, of mankind. You know, we're getting these more and more powerful weapons, whether they be digital or physical, and then you can try to stamp out space where.
I think I gave up trying to. I mean, I like as soon as I touched any form of spirituality, I was like, I definitely don't want to get involved with, or at the very least, I want to get involved with spiritual battling as little as possible. Like what really attracted me was just straight up gratitude. It was like something so simple, but so profound to me. It's something that I just can't help but talk about, you know, because it's like, I guess I didn't realize how much of my life I was living feeling entitled to feeling good or comfortable. Like I didn't realize that I could actually.
I don't have gratitude for the fact that in the news it says 260 women and children were killed in air raids yesterday.
But I'm not. I know in certain contexts.
I mean, I'm Jewish. I'm bringing that up just as far as I know. It is good to have these things that are tied to exist. And you're talking about like
listen. No. What I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is, there's no law of nature that says any one of us needs to be alive. We don't need to be alive. Like if any one of us were to die, nothing about the world would fundamentally change. Tomorrow would still come. The world would not stop just from any one of us dying. So therefore, we don't have to be alive.
And it would be far more fair if we were dead. It's incredibly unfair that we're alive.
It will eventually happen for all of us, unfortunately.
So I'm saying every day is not guaranteed. Every day
it's going to get each and every last one of us one of these days. You know,
all I'm saying is every day is something to be thankful for, you know, because it's not guaranteed.
The Transhumanist Party. So if anyone has hope, like again, that's the one political thing that he's put on his channel is the Transhumanist Party, and it's serious too. It's one of his most serious programs.
Crazy how I don't want to die.
But however, what I'm saying is like it's not just enough to like get to this conclusion, but when you actually live with it, it changes your fucking life.